the Most High and Christ. We want to talk about the condition of the world today. Uh, we want to start off talking about these tornadoes, and then we're going to end up talking about um, what the Most High is doing in the earth today. We um, we see the tornadoes hit through Missouri, Oklahoma. I think it was Oklahoma and Mississippi, Louisiana. Let's just look at a couple of these stories here.
We are now getting a better picture of the loss of lives and property after a massive storm system tore through the central and southern U.S. this weekend. At least 37 people were killed across
Wow.
7 states. 3 of those deaths came in Missouri right after a tornado touched down on Friday night. In Alabama, a possible tornado launched a school bus onto the roof of a high school. Officials believe as many as 16 tornadoes swept through that state, and now more than 60 million people are under the threat of more severe storms as that storm system shifts eastward.
The damage and ongoing rescue efforts as more storms are on the way. Fox weather correspondent Robert Ray is on the ground with more on the latest conditions. And Robert, it is maybe 2% encouraging to see that there is plenty of cloud coverage overhead. It would be even worse somehow if we were seeing bright blue skies out there and there was a ton of sunshine. Having said that, we still anticipate big time severe weather to roll through the area that you're standing in right there right now.
Yeah, Nick, exactly. And we just arrived here from Memphis, drove about 100 miles to the south on I-55 through tornado watches and warnings, nasty stuff. And we're here in Elliott, a small town in between Jackson, Mississippi and Memphis, Tennessee. And this town got hit by a tornado last night about 1 a.m. And let's get a survivor's account. Robert Holman.
All right.
I'm glad you're standing here, my friend. And this is your home.
Right.
Massive tree, several trees fell on it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, sir, tell me what happened last night at 1 a.m.
Well, we heard the siren going off about 4 or 5 times, and then we felt the wind coming through, and then all of a sudden it got like a freight train. And then all of a sudden we just hear stuff just falling all on the house. It got stronger. I say it lasted about 10 minutes.
10 minutes until the sirens, until it was all over.
Now, when that thing came through, the siren let us know that something was coming. And then once that siren cut off, we heard that wind coming. And it got hot up in the house. Just the hot, that wind just...
There's a warm wind.
Yeah, it's warm. It just, the house got real hot. And then it all of a sudden, it just boom, and just tore all everything up.
And where were you in the house when...
We got up. I told my son to get up and come to the... I said, don't go to the back because the tree done fell on it. And so we come right there, got in that side right there, and then all of a sudden we heard the top. Boom!
Oh, my God.
And then I said, I can't go out there and move them cars, because all this stuff is debris, is blowing and everything. I just let it went, I couldn't do nothing.
Robert, just so we can give our viewers some perspective of where we're standing right now, Mike Hall, if you could just survey, strain your lens on some of the debris piles. Look at the trees that are stacked up. Yeah. Mind you, everyone watching this, this happened at 1 a.m. And so what are we looking at? Roughly, 6-7 hours ago at this point? Vehicles.
Look at that rubber's over there. My red Ford truck, it's big.
Now you see Esau. He's anxious. It looks like he's anxious to report that God is hitting black people, hitting his people too. So God is all equal opportunity people. God, He's an equal opportunity God. So what do y'all think about that? I know a lot of people say, well, we're going to be protected. He's going to protect us. But see, God, he got to wake his people up, man. Because we got some horrible Israelites out here. They are praying that America is healed. They don't care what the Bible is saying. They're still worshiping on the wrong day. They don't want to hear the truth. We got some wicked people in Israel. Now, I'm not hoping none of this stuff happen to anybody. You know what my hope is, that none shall perish, but all shall come to the righteousness and the truth and come back to the Most High. That's my hope. Just like Paul and just like Jesus Christ and God said, He wished none to perish. God wants to heal everybody. He wants all the Israelites and everybody else, that all the nations that will come like Ruth did to follow Naomi back to worship her God. That's what we hope for. We don't hope for the nations, the white or black nations, to be destroyed. Now we hope the wicked be destroyed. The wicked ain't gonna repent. They can't repent. They don't want to repent. Black and white wicked. 2/3 of our people. I was talking to a brother. He was saying, yeah, but 2/3 of our people are gonna be destroyed. They're not gonna come back. Well, we was talking about that. I got a couple other videos we want to show where God is setting His destruction on not only the nations, the white and the Africans, but also the black Israelites too. Even though God hope and desire is that you will repent, He know you won't. But there's still 1/3 out there that haven't been sealed yet. There's still not 1/3, but part of the 1/3 that still got to come in. And we know that God is bringing His judgment. We was talking about chastisement too. God never changes. His method of chastisement is start with rebuke. So, He's trying to get all of that 1/3 to come to repentance. So He starts with rebuke, and then he goes to a small voice, and then a louder voice, and then He start letting physical things happen to you. Go to jail. You go to jail. You might go to jail. Something else physical. There's a scourging. It gets to the point rebuke, then chastisement, and then scourging. The scourging is where He beats you to the point almost to death. You doing it to yourself. He ain't doing it. But if you ignore all the warnings and all the chastisements of God, the judgment is set for death. He said, I set before you life and death. So Israelites, you think that you can keep on telling God, know my heart, you can keep on sinning and not listening to the prophets. They blowing the whistle, they blowing the horn. The trumpet is being blown. And we talked about another thing, me and my brother. He talked about how he said God gonna do what He want to do. No, God gonna do what He said He gonna do. He gonna do the same thing He did in every captivity. The same thing He did in Egypt, He warned them. He warned the Assyrians, the next captivity. He warned the Babylonians that the Medo-Persia was going to take them down. The trumpet blew. The trumpet, we saying the trumpet is the prophets that came out and prophesied against the wicked nations. Not only that, He warned the wicked. He warned the wicked that was calling themselves Gentiles, and he warned the people of God, the Israelites, to let them know who they were. In every captivity, we had people who didn't know who they were. Because if you born in the captivity, most of the people that have you in captivity, they demand by threats of death that you don't tell your children who they are. You can't keep your own customs. They did that in every captivity. They changed your name. You got to start eating defiled food. They did that in the Babylonian. They did that in the Greek captivity. Medo-Persia, they didn't have us long enough. But they still demanded that we assimilate into their customs every captivity. They don't want you over there teaching God's laws. Ain't that what it said in the book of Esther? I mean, the edition of Esther, about these strange people. They said they would said that all the people would be one world government and everything would be fine if it wasn't for them strange people who's always coming with these strange laws talking about God said do this and God said we shouldn't do that. He said we got to get rid of them people. They always messing us up. So they not any captivity you go in, They already know who you are, and they don't want you coming in with them laws talking about God is going to judge you and chastise you. Who do you think you are? Ain't that what Lot's son-in-law said to him when he went to warn him of Sodom and Gomorrah being destroyed? You think God love you more than he do us? Who you think you is warning us? They thought it to be Lot, that Lot was judging them and putting them down. But every captivity, God warns the wicked, and he warns the Israelites there's going to be a change of hands. The empire is going to change hands. Okay? So that's what God is doing now. He's warning us. He's warning the wicked. The wicked, you know who you are. The people who said, all of the videos, I'm teaching the same thing. You got white privileges. Africans saying, we're not your brother. We come over here to take everything out of this land. Everybody else join union with the Edomites to come over here and rid us of everything, even our lives, to get our resources out of here, to take all the handouts. They jump in the front of the land. They cut the land, and our lawmakers put them in front of us, give them everything they need, and won't give us none of our reparation money or our land back. The rights of indigenous people, that's us. That's not those indigenous peoples. That's not those Native American peoples. The Native American peoples are a makeup of a bunch of different Edomites and Moab, right? Asians and Europeans. Asians and Europeans and Africans make up the indigenous peoples. The Native American peoples. They put them in front of us. For one reason why, when you see people in government over in the indigenous lands, when you see the mulatto people in government, you know that they are not Israelites, because Esau is not going to set Israelites in power. That's his biggest fear. He's never going to set Israelites in power. They're going to always be his bastard children. And they know who they are. Jesus knew who they are. He called them the tares. The tares come to suck all the nourishments away from the wheat, to keep them powerless and weak. And a lot of them don't make it. They choke out. The weeds choke out the plant. Right? So we know, and so we talked again. And he said, God gonna do what he want to do. No, God's gonna do what he said he was gonna do. He said he was gonna bend the bow, Judah, and he said he was gonna shoot out the northern kingdom out of the bow, arrows. The arrows. And he said and Israel would be like a burning coal in the bosom of the wicked Edomites and all these other nations. Basically, they're all Edomites. Chinese, Japanese, France, all the European Union, they're all Edomite nations. Ishmael, he's Edomite now, because God put his judgment already on those nations that fell, those black nations that fell by the hands of the Greek and the Romans. They have been whited out too and sent to the bottom, even ran out of their own land. And now you have Egyptian, mulatto Egyptians calling themselves the real Egyptians. South Africans calling themselves the people who were in South Africa originally. All over, the indigenous people, all down in the islands, Caribbean islands, the Polynesians islands. We have the indigenous, we have the Edomites running all these lands. But I'm going to tell you something else. The Most High is doing this with Donald Trump and Elon Musk. What he's doing to this country, God is doing some things by his hand. We see it's all by God's hand. But he's also using this wicked government.
Lasted just over 4 hours with many of the people who attended. Good evening. This protest down here on the mall lasted just over 4 hours with many of the people who attended identifying themselves as veterans who were...
Fair use. 1976 Fair Use Act, allowances is made for fair use of materials for the purpose of educating and a host of other things, teaching, educating. Okay, let's keep listening.
Very angry with President Trump and DOJ for the cuts that are being made. Many of them came with homemade signs similar to one that said, "This is a nation of laws, not kings." They're very angry with President Trump. They think that he should be removed from office. The homemade signs were everywhere. No kings, no DOJ, no cuts to VA. Stop the coup, and I serve no kings. For well over an hour, they listened to speaker after speaker point out what they call Trump's abuse of the office of the presidency. Harry Dunn was there, the former Capitol Police officer who fought the mob on January 6th and ran for Congress in Maryland.
Donald Trump has referred to January 6th as a day of love. Hold on. This right here is love. I feel this. I love you all. And you all give me a little bit of whatever the hell I got inside of me that makes me want to keep going and not stop.
The protest was organized by comedian Cliff Cash and the 14th Now, a group calling for Trump's removal from office.
You cannot beat lawless people with laws. You cannot beat people with rules who do not and have not ever followed rules.
At times, the crowd broke into chants.
I'm down here for everybody on that wall. I'm down here for all the veterans. I'm down here for America. I'm down here because this needs to be done.
I'm here in solidarity because what's happening to our country is not right, and we're standing here looking at the Capitol, watching our Congress not do their job.
For some in the crowd, it was emotional.
You know, I know we're on the eve of, the CR expiring. We don't know what's going to happen. The country's being torn apart. My colleagues are unemployed right now. It's pretty emotional.
And that woman isn't the only one who was concerned about the continuing resolution. There was a lot of boos and anger directed towards Senator Chuck Schumer of New York, the Senate Minority Leader, who's come out and said that he's going to vote in favor of that resolution on Capitol Hill.
All right, this is that pile up. The Most High is moving and he is working. We talked about, we also talked about Donald Trump dismantling the government. And this is all by the hand of the Most High. Everything is by the hand of the Most High. And it's basically, God is multitasking. He's trying to gather his people up, because they'll never gather up as long as this government is giving them gifts and handouts. So what Donald Trump is doing by stopping the handouts, stop playing God with our people. Stop playing God. That's what God is doing to our people, is the God that they made the United States government their God. They stopped trusting in the Most High Yah. Our young peoples have no kind of mind toward God. 1 Timothy, what's that? 2 Timothy 3:1. Perilous times. The mind of our children is godless. They don't want to have anything to do with the world coming to the end. They don't want to even think of it. They don't want to think about this world coming to an end. But all the signs are pointing to it. And I just want to say to our young people, it had to come on somebody's young watch. It was going to come on somebody's young watch. We in God's time. So you can go ahead and stick your head in the sand and pretend like you don't hear the prophets blowing the horns, the trumpets, and warning you. Because right now, y'all in the position of the wicked. My sons, my daughters, they don't want to hear this. All the young people, they want to hear sweet and nice things. Isaiah 30 and 10. They want to hear the sweet and nice things. But the Most High, the end of the world is coming like birth pains. It's travailing like birth pains. In other words, every pain, what do you call every cycle gets more painful. Every birth cycle gets more painful. And that's what's happening, because that's the only way he's gonna have to shed. I'm gonna tell you, he's gonna have to shed the food, the water, the housing, and everything down on 2/3 of our people. On the 2/3. He's gonna have to shed the food, the water, and everything down on the 2/3. And a lot of people say, well, the 2/3 ain't gonna make it. But remember, I want to ask you this: do we really know who the 2/3 is? Do we know who the Northern Kingdom is? That's the thing right there. Because who you think the Northern Kingdom is, I don't think it is. Because let me tell you this. Let me ask you this: if the Northern Kingdom going to be going to be the arrows shot out from the bow, who would that be? I don't see them nowhere. You say they're not the Negroes. All the Negroes is Judah. Well, you tell me, where are the arrows? Because it sure ain't none of the mulatto people. It ain't the white people. Ain't none of them keeping the laws. Ain't none of the mulatto, the people in none of these lands in South America are scattered all around. The light-skinned people, they're going for white, and they're going to stand with white supremacy. They're going to stand with the government in place. They are not going to be the ones that go out and I'm going to just say take up arms. They're not going to be hitting the mark. They're not going to be standing in defense against the current government and the people of the world, all those governments, all the people that they bring in this land and bring around us, all the government systems. The people have to stand against them. Now, you're going to have more white people more people who know blonde-haired, blue-eyed people standing for right than you are going to have the Hispanic, Native American peoples, all the light-skinned people who separate themselves from the Afro people in all these lands in South America and here on this land. They're not going to stand. They hate us. They hate us. They're not going to stand. They're going to stand with who they think is going to be winning. But you're going to have more blonde-haired, blue-eyed people standing against this government system, like we see in those protests. You're going to have more of them standing because they know the truth, and they know the truth. And they're going to cleave to us. They're going to cleave to the truth in order to worship our God, because they know the prophecy of they're doomed if they don't. Some of them don't care, just like some of our people don't care. They rather stand with Esau, stand with this Babylonian government, rather than to come back to the Most High God and follow the laws. Get with us and follow the laws. Cleave to us. Cleave to the people that's following the laws, not the wicked Israelites. But you show me any mulatto group. They cussed us out like crazy when they thought that they were going to replace us in this land. They came right in across that border and cussed us out like crazy. Cussed us out, jumped in front of the line, took those handouts. I mean, because they feel like they're rightfully theirs. We read the wisdom of Solomon. Look at my videos. We know what they say. This is their time to rule the earth, and they were supposed to be enjoying all the voluptuous gifts and things, the cream of the crop. They were supposed to be enjoying those things just like their white counterparts. They have white fathers. They know who they are. Sure, we know people can have black fathers and be light skinned and then go join in with the whites, but they are for white supremacy. They must pledge their allegiance to the people who are in power on the earth today. They got to be willing to stand up and put up a resistance against us and the Bible. Because all we doing is bringing out Bible right now. That's all Judah is doing. That's all most of the northern kingdom is doing right now. It's reading the Bible. But who is the northern kingdom? That's what you got to realize. Who is he going to shoot out the bow? Because ain't really, we saw by watching some of our leaders, and some of the leaders, they not leading right, man. They not right in their heart. They leading for money. Christian pastors and Israelite leaders, they leading for money. They on YouTube for money. Most of them never had none. They've been in the ghetto all their life. They've been down and out, no good jobs. Yeah, they're going to lead for money. Them going to be the first ones run up there. But then God is going to have some people leading in the background, like me and a bunch of other people that nobody know about. He got flock of people that nobody even know about. They wouldn't even consider us, because the broad is the road to destruction, but narrow is the way of the people who standing back and trying to and wanting to do everything God's way. And you're gonna see them. God gonna promote, not so much as promote us, raise us up, but we're gonna grow in favor with the people, and show love, better love than some of these leaders are showing. Some of these Israelite leaders and Christian pastor leaders and political leaders. You're gonna see a big difference of the love we're gonna show the people. When God is gathering us, He has to do what He's doing. He has to dismantle. He's multitasking. He's dismantling this current government, ruler of the earth, the wicked, the border of wickedness. He's dismantling them. At the same time, He's bringing our people to naught. And I was telling my brother, I said, okay, God has always done that. He has always used the wicked people He's used the wicked of our people when it was time for us to gather together. But first, He got to get them to a place where they are going to be screaming and crying, God, help us. We need your help. So He got to dismantle the help coming from the government, because that's where their hope is. That's where that's their treasure, and so that's where their heart, that's where their mind is. So once he take all hope from this government as far as to helping our people, once they realize they can't get no help from this government, because this government is down. Crazy people running this government. Look at all of their own people who thought they were voting for Trump to raise them up, because they know he can this government can make anybody rich. They got all the riches in their Vatican and in their the Queen over there. They got all the gold. They got all the wealth. They got all the knowledge. They got all the information. They can write the check and make anybody rich in this land. They can make 500 million people rich in this land. They can make 300 million people rich to where they won't have to work or worry about anything. But they got to have somebody to do the work, the everyday work. And when we shut down, when God shut us down and said, y'all not working for them no more, y'all retired. When he retired us from working with this government, in other words, made them hate us so bad, when we stopped voting and participating in their systems and their system and what else? What do we call that? Their customs. When we realize their customs is wrong and start keeping the law, then that shut their government down. That shut their living down, because we the ones who've been expending our energy to make sure they have a beautiful life over here. So when they can't use our energy anymore, they're gonna have to go to work. And that's why the Most High had crazy Trump to send those people, stop the people, stop everything, stop the presses, stop rolling, stop, nobody work no more. I'm breaking everybody down. You know, he think he's hurting us, but he's hurting himself. It's because they not thinking right. Wisdom of Solomon said they won't be thinking right. And while they are tearing us down and taking the crumbs from under their table away from us, they're doing us a favor, but they're hurting themselves more. They're dismantling their government so that we won't be able to survive off of them. That's what Trump is doing. But now, he's doing exactly what God wants him to do. You know, he can stop and take care of his people. That's what I'm saying. He can take care of his people anytime, write a check, make sure they got food and everything. That's what he's thinking. But you see, these hurricanes and all this atrocity is coming at them at the same time. At the same time, Trump is thinking he's God. Don't worry about my people. I can. You might not be able to save your people, Trump. You might not. That's what Pharaoh thought. He said, "Don't worry." But the Israelite put the blood on the doorpost, and the Most High deleted all of their firstborns and even their animals. He can delete your animals just by a fog that come in the air. He can delete your firstborns and your animals. He can delete you whenever he get ready to. But he's slow walking you. He's dismantling you. He's having you dismantle yourself piece by piece. So you'll know that this is God. You'll know that this is God bringing you down. Because you have so much arrogance and so much pride. You said, he prophesied, God said, they're going to say who can bring them down. And I'm going to be taking them down piece by piece. And I'm going to let them do it. And he said, he's not only that, he's going to allow their people, some of the blonde-haired, blue-eyed people, going to cleave to us. And he's going to save them. Okay? And not only that, our 2/3, our northern kingdom, even some of the 2/3, especially the northern kingdom, y'all don't know who the northern kingdom is right now. Y'all don't know. But they're going to be an arrow shot out. You said God ain't going to use the 2/3? Yes, he will. It's going to be the same process of cleansing. Didn't he use unclean people and bring unclean people out of Egypt? Didn't he bring unclean people out of many situations? He had them to purify themselves and get ready for the battle. They prayed first. They put on sackcloth and ashes, and they prayed. That's where he's getting us to the point now. He's getting the Israelites to the point now where they will cry out, because they got to cry out to God, because they won't have nobody else to depend on. That's what he's getting our young people. Starvation, dehydration, attacks from the enemy, physical attacks from the enemy, and threats and fear will force you to cry out to God. And he said in the last days, that's when he's going to hear you. He going to get you to that point, though, where you cry out with a sincere heart, begging forgiveness and pleading with him to help you. That's the only time he's going to help you. But he got to get you to this point. And he'll never get you there if the Edomites, if the rulers of this world, keep throwing you crumbs. just got you barely surviving off the crumbs, and you happy with that. So he's shedding the crumbs off now. The Most High is shedding all the crumbs off. And all this atrocity is happening in the world. That's a part of it. We was laughing. We wasn't laughing, but we were saying, look at God work on these Edomites, the hurricanes and tornadoes hitting in all their neighborhood. He just went across Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi. And all you holdouts down there that wasn't paying the Israelites or the trumpets no attention, the warning trumpets, you wasn't paying it no attention. You still going to church on Sunday. You still eating your pork and shrimps. You still fornicating. You're still telling the preachers, you're still telling the prophets, get out of your truck, get out away from your church, get off your street, licking your tongue out at the prophets. Preachers coming out, cussing them out the church. They trying to bring you a warning that tragedy and death is coming to you. But you don't want to hear it. So God gonna get you down where there's no food and water. That's the only way humans will cry out to God, is when they can't see no other way to survive and they know death. It's called a scourging. That's what we'll get back to that degree of chastisement. A small voice, God telling you, son, daughter, you know that ain't right now. Don't do that. Don't do that. Listen to the prophets. They telling you what the laws is. They telling you what missing the mark is right here. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Whosoever sin transgresses the law, because sin is the transgression of the law. I'm paraphrasing. So he's giving you all that, and you don't want to hear it. But you'll hear him when ain't nowhere to go, when, you don't have no jobs. You don't have a job. The bank gonna want you to pay that mortgage. You ain't gonna be able to pay rent. All you homeless people, the sheriff's gonna put you out in the streets. Your food gonna spoil. You out in the streets. What you gonna do then? All your houses get blown away in tornadoes and stuff. Children are dying. The Edomites and the wicked nations are killing your people. What you gonna do then? You gonna cry out, and that's where God getting you to. Because that's the only way he going to deliver y'all. Well, they say, well, now 2/3 is going. Well, like I said, God sanctified them and with the blood on the post and brought them out across the Red Sea and had them in the wilderness. They weren't all repentant people, good people. But God will purify you to do a work so he can do a work. He said he was going to deliver all of Israel from the hands of the enemy. That's the 2/3 too. Now they're going to go off again before Jesus comes. They're going to get nuked to 2/3. They're going to get nuked, but right now he's bringing us out. And so you Israelites, a lot of you Israelites saying, well, we going to be all right. That's what my brother said. He said, we going to be all right. The Israelites keeping the law. Y'all going to be the first ones that they push out of their homes and chase out of place. Yeah, because if he can put you in distress, if he can get you to stop keeping the law and put you in distress, then he can hold his kingdom, because it's because of us that they fallen. It's because of the Israelites waking up and praying and teaching and keeping the law. So if he could, like they did every time they took us into captivity, they said no eating the right. You can't eat the clean food. You can't pray to God. Remember he told Daniel and all of them, you can't pray to God. You can't teach that you are the chosen people, the Israelites. You can't do none of that. Can't keep none of your customs. You're gonna have to assimilate. You got to get over here and eat this wicked pork. We ain't gonna have nothing for you but some pork and shrimp and catfish. You can't go to church, no Bible at all. You're going to have to sneak and read the Bible. They did that right here in this country. They did that to us. Jim Crow laws. So that's what Trump said, that's their purpose. Oppress the righteous man and cut them off from being a nation. That's what their plan is to do. But this time it won't work. because God is going to deliver us just like he delivered us out of Egypt. This country is finished. This country, I know y'all seen this pile up. These atrocities are happening all over. They're happening all over. All praises to the Most High. It's coming to an end. It's coming to an end. The Most High is going to deliver us. All these things have got to happen. They've got to happen. They have got to happen in order for us to gather up to be delivered from the hands of the wicked. We're going to have chaos in the streets. This is a small part of it, right? This is a small part of it. This is just AI's imagination, right? It's just a small part of what's about to happen all over the earth. It's happening right now. All of this is already happening. It's already happening. It's happened in one form or another. This is going to happen too. This is what we're waiting on right here. This is after Christ come back right here. So all praises to the Most High. And this is going to happen. All of this is going to happen. All of this is happening already. All of this is happening. Cut us off from being the people we're still here. Why color matters. It's all happening. The truth matters. Our heavenly host is rooting for us. The heavenly host is rooting for us right now. They're rooting for us. We're going to make it. We're going to make it. Our robe, we're washing our robes now, coming back to the Most High and keeping the laws. We're washing our flesh now. Spiritually being baptized back into cleanliness. Oh, won't that be a beautiful time? Won't this be a beautiful time? Now we know heaven, but we're going to have the bodies. This is our heavenly host now. These are the angels. Our brothers. They're the angels. Did y'all know that? They are the angels. They rooting for us, man. They rooting for us, y'all. We got to get right, man. We got to gather up just like this. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. He's going to give us our daily bread. He's going to forgive our debts. He's going to forgive us. Read 1 Kings 8:41, 47 through 51. Our heavenly host is rooting for us. We're going to know our people when we see them again. We're going to know them. People that we lost. We're going to know them. The people that this wicked world took from us. We're going to know their faces. All praises to the Most High. Yahweh Bahashem and Mashiach Yahweh Shai. Barakathon to you all.